Hey everybody, it's What the Flick, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 3. I think somebody just told me the title and I didn't.
The Queen's Justice.
The Queen's Justice didn't register because I was not listening because I'm a man.
You asked the question and got the answer instantly.
And it was 6 seconds ago.
It's okay, you were thinking about your cousin.
That's right. My cousin Ryder, who was an intern here at the Young Turks, Ryder Davis, welcome.
Can't see him.
Ryder, do you watch Game of Thrones?
No. He's saying no.
So here we go. So this was in many ways the spine of the episode, as I believe in the post-episode commentary by Benioff and Weiss. They was the meeting between Jon and Daenerys. This much anticipated meeting, and considering it was much anticipated, it was sort of it was very formal.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
It lacked. It was funny, actually.
It was funny. It was definitely funny. It was really well written, but it lacked the emotional power, not the emotional power, but the emotional suddenness that you expected. Like, oh my God! Instead, it was, oh, here he is. He's walking up.
It definitely felt like as they're in the middle of a meeting, like what are we doing here?
Right. Yeah.
Feeling that you get in meetings sometimes.
Yeah, but it played out exactly as I expect, because Daenerys is just that type of character where she's just like, I'm all title, but with very little substance. I
disagree.
Really?
She has done good things as it came out later. I mean, the way I think Jon was reading her is she's just this spoiled, entitled girl who doesn't know anything. She's naive, and he's reading her, or she's reading him as, this is just some asshole in my way.
Yeah.
Right, and like, some uncultured northern brute.
Some brute.
As it's succinctly said, he's the bastard and king of the north. That's about all he has to him on paper. But Daenerys, I mean, let's be real. A lot of her accomplishments, while she thinks big, they always kind of have they don't go the way they expect. She does all these big things. She's got a big heart because she wants to free everyone and she doesn't want to lay waste to lands, but she doesn't go about it the smartest of ways. And there's always something that bites her in the ass.
Before anybody responds to that, Kim, Brett, Meredith.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, wide shot. Kim, Brett, Meredith, Ben, thanks for joining us. Sorry.
Yeah, she'll do things, but I think that's like the Game of Thrones world where you conquer. Which makes it so surprising that there was 19 years or whatever of peace following Robert Baratheon's victory in the war over the Mad King. Every time in this show, there seems to be a victory that might imply some kind of equilibrium. Instantly like, oh, here are the guys with the gold masks who are stabbing people and it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Well, peace is harder to get than you would think.
Because I haven't done a wrap up yet with any of you guys, I am bothered / amused. I'd say 71% amused, 29% bothered by their sort of recklessness regarding time. When it suits them not to have somebody know something and something to take a long time, somebody doesn't know something and it takes a long time.
Right.
When they need someone to know it and it to happen seemingly in an hour, it happens in an hour.
And like mid-meeting arrivals, oh, it had to have taken weeks for this message to get here. And Varys is like, by the way, sorry, I also was just on a clip.
How is Varys so fast?
I know.
Because did you see him?
Well, he's got his little bird.
Well, he keeps appearing and then going somewhere else across the sea, and it just.
But it's that thing. It's that he's got his little birds, and when it suits them to have that be, but whatever. I got it. They got to move the story along.
But I'm also
we got to
with
wrap
you
up. We got 10 episodes left or 11 episodes.
But
left.
also a fortnight, 2 weeks, really, and Cersei's able to take on Highgarden and move people from Castle
Did you use fortnight conversationally?
I did.
You did.
I did.
Okay.
Well, they
2
said
weeks,
fortnight. I know, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's just because I recently saw a meme on the internet where it was like, the British people are like, what is your word for 2 weeks? We use fortnight, and they're like, oh, we just use 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like,
what's your
word
do you have a word for 3 weeks?
I know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like I do agree with you. The whole time came through me this episode.
So a little bit. So I took a bunch of notes. Because there were so many good lines and good moments in that meeting. That meeting was more than just there. First of all, handing over the weapons. That was a nice moment. And then as they walk up the stairs, which got to take 3 or 4 hours, is Tyrion saying about Sansa, well, she's much smarter than she lets on. And Jon goes, she's starting to let on.
Oh, it's so good.
I like their friendship.
Of course,
I also
it's a
like
great-
that Tyrion went out of his way to say, I didn't have sex with your sister.
Yeah, right.
And then Bran's like, I saw you have sex.
Oh God, that's later. Yeah. So the swooping in of the.
I saw you get assaulted, right? Yeah, right.
I'm sorry you get, I saw you get raped.
That's right.
Yeah.
Swooping
Not
of the
sex.
dragons also a great moment.
yeah.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
like, yeah, these things are huge and
Yeah.
terrifying, and I understand how they conquered the Seven Kingdoms at one point. And then during the meeting, the person that I definitely identified, whose instinct I identified with the most, was Tyrion's to say like, if we're all gonna just die, bend the knee, let's get on with our the transactional nature of our interaction here.
But he was good because like he didn't, that was a great point. It didn't work.
No.
So then he went to plan B, which was, all right, come on, ask for something that I can get her to give you. And then he got her to give it. And that's the beginning of a partnership, right?
Yeah.
And then either he will bend the knee or she'll be like, I don't need to worry about him bending the knee. His bending the knee is not super important to me. He'll be, it'll be like Puerto Rico, the North. Like, yeah, we control it, but you're kind of in charge.
And that was something that drove me nuts about Dany, was she's so insistent of like, just recognize me as Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. It's like, okay, we get you've done a lot overseas, but you haven't done a lot to earn it here. And I think that was such a good meat of the whole situation, which Tyrion read, and ultimately I think, like you said, got them to work
I think
together.
they did a really good job to that end of reminding us that we want to scream at both of them. No, she's okay and he's okay, right? But they don't.
Yeah,
There's
they don't
no
know.
reason really for her to know it other than Tyrion is the link. Tyrion is the one who has to convince, because both of them trust Tyrion, to get them to believe that. And obviously, the moment that we think that when she learns what happened with getting stabbed in the heart, that is either going to frighten her or warm her to him.
There's a sorry, go for it.
It was such a funny moment where he's just like, everyone loves Jon Snow. He's the best. He helped everyone. He died. Wait.
What did I say?
There's a scene, and I want to say Lethal Weapon 2, where Mel Gibson and Rene Russo, they seem to hate each other, but suddenly they're comparing scars and then they're making out. Right? And I kind of wanted a magic off, like, hey, what did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I survived an inferno, says Daenerys. And what did you do? Oh, I got brought back to life.
Right, by this woman who, the person who sort of, and she's
just
right,
better.
she's here.
We're all magic.
know.
Let's have a magic party.
So,
Let's call it Magic the Gathering.
so also I thought significant, that conversation between Varys and Melisandre, that's her name, right? Because he said, once she had the line of, I will come back, I'm going to wherever it is, Club Med for a while, and right. And that was what it was not Club Med. I will return, I have to die in this strange country, just like you. But it came after he said, come on, you can't leave, you can't get out of this. Give us common folk one taste of power and we're like the lion who tasted man. And so, I don't know, I thought, ooh, Varys, like you forget, well, we don't forget, Varys loves power, but is Varys' power to be fully trusted? I mean, the lion who tasted man, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, Melisandre's right only about 25% of the time.
Yeah, right?
It's true. Also, I mean, we've seen Varys, like, he says he likes to work in the shadows, but like he just admitted, he wants more power, and I can't blame him. I think he ultimately wants to.
Yeah, but can you also interpret that as him just saying, I like to manipulate power, I like to be close to power, I want to be in the city and I don't want to move to the suburbs? Where
Cersei was manipulating behind the scenes and now she's fully realized as queen, I think Varys is most happy where he's manipulating everyone behind the scenes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's got more hands over in King's Landing than we'd expect.
Will Varys relinquish power if it's right for the people?
Not at all.
Like, will there be
That speech about being for the people, that was BS.
Yeah, well, that line to me suggested that there may be a more sinister element to Varys.
Yeah.
Before we part with that initial meeting, there was obviously more with so they go through Miss Sunday. Miss Sunday. So she
Miss Sunday.
Right, that's what. So Miss Sunday gives her her long, endless. I mean, who would tolerate that? I mean, again, to me, there are all these signs that Daenerys won't do the right thing in the end because she loves all this, right? She loves it. And then we get to that moment where there's silence afterwards. And Jon is looking around like, I don't really, A, I don't care if you said that, and B, and then the Onion Knight is like, this is Jon Snow. Pause. He's king of the North.
I like that he's king in the North, not king in the North.
King of the North, yeah.
She's the breaker of chains.
I called him Jorah earlier, and that was a misspoke. I'm blanking on his name though, and I hate that. The Onion Knight.
So then we got Euron coming back. I mean, and
he's like a comical villain.
Love him.
He really is. He's just ridiculous.
He's growing on me like a goiter that I love, and I gave a name to.
Also, for all the poor people in King's Landing, they're just throwing good produce at the Sand Snakes. I'm like, guys, if you're starving and a war's about to come, you might want to keep that food for yourself.
Why do they hate the Sand Snakes? Because Cersei said so, or do they have personal reason?
Because they think, do they think that the Sand Snakes were involved in?
Yeah, they knew.
But also in murdering Joffrey?
No,
they
knew
still
that they
think
killed.
It was Tyrion and Sansa.
Yeah, but they knew that the daughter, Cersei's daughter, was killed.
Yeah, they know they killed.
But do they love Marcella that much?
Oh, Cersei. Yeah, I think that was.
I guess they just they're a sworn enemy of the Lannisters, a sworn enemy of the realm, and
we've just been winning stuff.
A lot of propaganda going on in King's Landing.
And we like to, they like to. They're easy, as they said, they're easily manipulatable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that. So I like your point that so has he grown on you because it's a villain you love to hate, or you just love? I just the scene. If he's in the scene is going to have great energy.
I love that the actor calls his character the douchebag pirate.
Yeah, that's right.
And that unlocks it for me completely. He's like just a douchebag who's like, you know what? I'm a pirate. I sail the seas. I have this amazing gangplank that just fucks the ship, and I run over it and I kill people, and then I pick them up and bring them back. And
I have a semi right now.
Yeah. Always getting he always kind of has a boner. So I really like in a world where the same way that I gravitate toward the Queen of Thorns, it's that I like people who are very frank about how they feel at the time and have an ease with communicating their true feeling. That's what I gravitate towards.
So that's the end of the episode. We should talk about that, and it relates to it because, of course, the Euron Jaime dynamic is a fantastic one, right? And of course, that really amazing line there at the end. I'm just curious, is she like it rough or easy, and like a finger in the
bum?
And thank you for finishing it. Because
it was not. He just said bum.
He just said,
Bum's not that bad.
Which is great. He's just like,
calling him a dick was worse just now.
No, I just but they're in front of everyone, right? And he is at that moment. Euron is as safe as can be, and then so does Cersei sense it because then she comes in and first she tortures. Again, Cersei will make you sympathetic to anybody. The brutal torture of Miss Dorne and her daughter.
She loved that. She loved giving that. What was it? The long kiss.
Yeah.
How do you go from putting poison on your lips to wanting to give a blowjob?
Right.
That just seems
That's where power.
Yeah, because it's power. Because it turned her on. She's finally.
It's crazy.
No, it's great. I love
she's
it.
turned. Right. It's power. Power is an aphrodisiac, and she is things have gone now well for her. Right.
Yeah.
Twice, as it turns out, by this episode. I mean, she didn't just strike the first blow; she struck the second blow, and the second blow was colossally huge.
And the third blow was her brother.
Right. Okay.
But there could be residual poison on her lips.
Yes, that's all I was thinking about. It's
It's just like, oh no!
You drink the poison, but you're putting it in your.
And he's like, I have a rash now. Why did this happen?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to.
Maybe we just don't question these things.
He's fine.
He went to Highgarden.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He was right, but it turns out it took 8 hours to get.
Yeah, it's really close.
Considerate.
He took the shuttle.
And he took the bullet horse.
If I close my eyes, I can hear Oberon's skull cracking. And then just that moment, that wonderful moment of the way they're tied together. This.
Yeah.
Right. So they just close enough so they can't embrace, and then having to watch your daughter die, and now all of a sudden we couldn't be more sympathetic to the.
I don't know.
To the ladies of Dorne.
I get it.
I thought it was great. Like,
no, that was the cruelest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's horrible. I'm not sympathetic to that. She's a monster.
No, I'm sympathetic to the ladies of Dorne.
I'm sympathetic to Cersei because
that's what I
the
thought you were
way that
saying.
her daughter was so.
Cersei doesn't love any of her kids.
No.
She's one of the worst people in the history
She
of,
really is,
of television.
I guess I like
She only wanted
problematic.
this.
I love problematic characters. I hate Cersei, but I love how she's written.
I also love how she's written, but I keep forgetting, we're so bad because there was this really great piece, I think in the New Yorker. We are going to send it out this week and we are going to talk about it next week, the week after, because I won't be here next week. That Cersei gets more grief than she ought to. She is just as bad and horrible as the men. And I mean, I don't know that comparing someone to what was the kid's name? Reese or Ramsey? Reese was the kid.
Ramsey Bolton.
Ramsey was the kid.
Bastard.
Yeah. So that comparing, someone to Ramsey and saying she's just as bad as Ramsey. I don't know that that's a great winning argument. But the idea that we give Cersei more grief because she's a woman, like the same sort of tactics taken by a man are frequently perceived as powerful and badass.
I think Ramsey's worse because Ramsey's like crazily crueler. They pretty clearly assert that the only person Cersei loves, which she, self-professes as her weakness, is her children.
Yeah, but there's no sign of it. She cried when Joffrey died, but I think that was because it was a loss of power. She did not care when Tommen died, and I don't think she cared that much when the girl whose name no one knows except Kim.
Tommen died.
No, I'm with you because I think it's what a narcissist does is they view people as extensions of themselves rather than their own person.
Right,
and
if
smart point made.
See, that's how I view
I
her.
disagree.
Banging your own brother, you're having sex with your DNA.
Your copy and you are making a new copy.
So and then the cruelty that she has now, I mean, she did it with the nurse who tortured. I get it. You want revenge, but smart people don't do that.
But
they might
she's been through. Think of how her father discarded her the whole entire time she was, I mean, I'm not saying her actions are justified, though it's interesting because it's the Queen's Justice. We think about the title there in many ways. Look at what Cersei's gone through, look at what she's been put upon, and look at how she's reacting.
I hear it. I hear that argument. I do not buy it because there is everyone's father largely abandoned them in this world.
Fair.
This is not like, I don't know that, and in fact, I mean, he was around, he gave her power. Yeah, he didn't hug her, neither did Sam, whose dad hugged? Whose dad hugged? The people who starved to death.
And she has like a petulant streak in her that she has really acted on with a lot of power. But she loves her kids.
And I think that's growing. I think in the early stages, I could see her actions. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying her actions are justifiable to me as a person. I wouldn't agree with her. I'm saying as a character, as she grows, I understand why she's responding the way she does.
She's winning, dude.
I just think I understand it. Yes, that's the way these characters behave. But Ramsay Bolton and Joffrey were these sadistic, awful, evil, dumb. She is just like them, except
I don't think she's dumb.
Not even vaguely dumb. She's incredibly smart, and we see that now twice. She's now one. That's part of the time problem they have is Euron intercepted the ships. Who the hell knows how? Like, I mean, what with?
Yeah, how is he?
That's my criticism of this. Is it seems like a lot of narrative field leveling that is not consistent with the previous intelligences displayed by the characters.
That's right. So Euron doesn't seem like he'd be, again, but you can't know where that other army is.
He's the best. I mean, I have no problem with him being a great sailor, and he seems like he's died, and what's dead may never die, and he's spent all this time on furlough becoming the best, dread pirate Roberts the world has ever seen, and now he's back. That's fine. But I'm saying like Tyrion is supposed to be super smart. This is the guy who won the Battle of Blackwater Bay, and he's moved 2 pieces stupidly.
Stupidly, that's right. So now it just occurs to me as we complained last week that like how do they run into each other? But maybe they were pretty close to Dorne, and I'm sure this is probably obvious now to everybody, but there's a spy, there's a leak, so that Euron got intelligence to essentially head toward Dorne, and then you could believe that they would run into each other.
This is the leak.
Right, maybe.
Also,
right. What if if you're 5 miles away from Dorne, then you're going to run into the army, and then
right. And also, it's a pretty narrow sea.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I think a lot of this could have been explained if we just saw like one scout ship in the distance, a little scene where we see, they see it. That's all. Right. I think they're, like you said, they're just taking some narrative leaps.
But I think I think there's a spy, and I think
who took over control of the little birds? Is it Qyburn? Is in charge of the little birds? So maybe it's not even intentional. Maybe it's just like a double agent child somewhere.
Maybe because now it's twice. I mean, now they knew that the Unsullied army would go to Casterly Rock?
That seems like something you could, like that Tyrion should have been smart enough to realize wasn't important. He went after that because it would be the moral victory of like the Lannisters losing Casterly Rock. Oh my God, the spine's broken, if not the head being chopped off.
These are the points that Cenk made, that these are like, they're playing silly games now of, his point was, look, you can't have a foreign army taking over King's Landing, the lords won't with you. He's like, the foreign army's gonna take Casterly Rock. His point was, that ship has sailed. A foreign horde is coming for Daenerys. Why are you worried about where they land? You're being cute, stop being cute, and go. And to some extent, it looks like he was right. But I'm now more and more convinced that they knew what was they knew to split their army there. They needed to go to High Garden. I can't believe it took me 7 years, but I now know what's happening. So they needed to go to because they need the money, and that's the most significant thing, is that the Lannisters are going to pay.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. Well, that was the significant moment.
Yeah, that was the moment for me. Good God, that's my favorite character now that she's dead, the Queen of Thorns.
Olenna.
Yes.
This episode has been burn after burn for Jaime, first from Euron and now from Olenna. I do have a theory about Jaime I'll talk about later, but do you think she planned that speech about Joffrey, or did it come during the moment when she saw the poisoned wine?
No, it came when she looked out the window and saw, well, today's the day I die. Like, we can't stop these people, and I'm gonna go sit in my sweet office, my super like unfurnished, sparse office. She likes open space. I like that, very modern. And she'll just wait,
Well, they're not fighters.
Right, they're not fighters, right? How do we do?
Roses.
As well as could be expected.
She's the best.
She got that.
James Bond fell in love with her.
There was a moment though when she was like talking about what a monster Joffrey was, that like I was waiting for like her to say, or what a monster Cersei was, that I was waiting for her to actually say, actually Cersei poisoned Joffrey. There was a moment where I was like, maybe they were gonna flip it. No, that the whole time we thought that, she was responsible for Joffrey's death, that we were gonna find out it was Cersei all along. There was that moment, because she's so good. But then her telling Jaime in the end, I was like, you got him. You finally got him.
Yeah, but it's not just getting him, right? Yeah. Because first of all, if I watched the Benioff and Weiss discussion at the end of the show, she's their favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, and favorite actress, and they're like, you can't not love Diana Rigg. And so her telling Jaime that story, and her, saying, she's evil, and she's gonna, it's gonna envelop you also. And he's like, yeah, it's too late for that. But it isn't, and he knows it's not. So she planted seeds that I think we're gonna lose Varys to evil and get Jaime back. He may die in the process, but he's gonna.
Yes.
Cersei dies at Jaime's hands.
It has to, because it's been going this way for a while. I mean,
Queenslayer, right?
Yeah, the reason why he took out the king was he wasn't cool with him burning down the whole city. She's got to be as bad as he is at this point, and she's just got to he's got to find out like one more cruel thing she's done, perhaps the Olenna thing, perhaps he doesn't know about Septa Unella yet, and I think that is certainly where it's leading because of that prophecy outside of the show.
Yeah.
He feels so guilty.
But he also, he knows now that Tyrion, which he always suspected, but he knows Tyrion and Sansa had nothing to do with Joffrey's death. So like her whole motivation is flawed right from the start. He's not avenging his son's death, even though he wasn't really a great dad.
He couldn't be. I mean, he was being a good dad by staying
but
away.
let's get to just real quick then to that. What about, so it's funny. Cersei's smart, but there's a recklessness to her now. She's like, hey, I'm the queen. What are you talking? I'm, you
I
know.
can do what I want.
Look what
she's
I
winning,
did.
dude.
Right, I can just see you. We can be in bed together. Like, and to some extent, it's true. Literally, I mean, Euron knows. The guy's been sailing the seas for 13 years. Everyone knows. Right. So all of a sudden, but still letting that out, being public with it.
I was really into page boy haircut, handmaiden girl.
Listen,
Right.
Hi,
all
I'll
of
be
the
a
queen's
character.
ladies have to have her hairstyle. That's what happened. Like Sansa did it
Yeah.
in the past, and Marjorie's ladies had her hairstyle. You know,
Oh, look
Yeah.
at
so
you.
they all chopped their hair off for Cersei.
That's smart.
It's working for that one.
know.
It's only literally we've been talking for I don't know like 40 minutes. There's only been 2 really good points made. They both been made by Kim. I want to point that out. That's really cool. So I don't know. I see Cersei as reckless now, although. And there's no way she accidentally guessed right twice on that they needed to intercept the Ironborn army in outside of Dorne, and that they needed to send most of the Lannister army to Highgarden to trick the Unsullied. I can't imagine they would have known they were coming. Something's happening.
Yeah.
Something's happening. All right, what else?
So
do
we
have?
also are in Winterfell as there is as Sansa's kind of barking out orders on like leather on the things and then this over there.
It was almost a montage.
Yeah.
Clean that up.
Yes, man.
Are you sure
You
you
just
want to
needed
use
that
that? Oh,
shot.
great idea.
That shot going like down an assembly line where
I
like
know.
people are knocking stuff.
I was waiting for that because the last 2 episodes have had such great like shots and cut scenes. This one was a little less artistic than the previous one.
Yeah, here's something. So you also have the pep talk given by Littlefinger to Sansa about. It's just like pep might not be the best word, but it was just like you need to be looking for all possible outcomes and all possibilities, so that you're never surprised
All the time.
Yeah.
You're
You
constant.
need to be paranoid.
Yeah, but it's always going on. If only you had the ability to see what's happening everywhere, all the time, and all possible permutations of the world. The next scene, it's just like,
Somebody's here to see you.
hold that thought. It's my 3-eyed raven sees everything, brother.
Right.
Perfect.
For a second, I thought that Littlefinger was Bran, was the 3-eyed raven.
Oh, like he warped into him.
Like no, that Littlefinger, after being Bran, goes back in time because they have the same face triangle.
No.
But it is essentially like the mortal version of a 3-eyed raven is Littlefinger, the person who is able to, without
see,
using
that's
any
right.
magic, just kind of see everything that's happening. Bran is going. I mean, keep him alive, please. Because you need him
He's
to be
going to
able
meld
to
into
cheat
the
for
tree.
you.
He's just going to become the tree.
Under
And
Winterfell,
Yep.
like evolve.
Bran shows the scars of a difficult few years.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a creepy boy now.
That dead eye stare.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a rough go, and but I mean, also you get the feeling that like we've seen an actor go from 3'6" to 6'8". Right,
Big kid.
He looks like a big kid, but also, you know, the knock. And I thought, and even though I instantly thought, wait, we didn't see her in the previously on Game of Thrones, but I was like, oh, this is the Arya Sansa moment, and you're like, oh no, it's just Bran.
I still got a little like misty-eyed seeing that though.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, and Sansa was so overwhelmed to see someone in her family, so we still see the softness of Sansa that Littlefinger must hate. And the softness is a good softness. I mean, a humanity in Sansa.
It was nice to see because
nice.
she's been a little scary lately.
And she may get it again with
Yeah.
Arya, and then Jon theoretically he's gonna come back, and they're gonna be like all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, there are 4 of us for crying out, we're fine.
Right. That's what was so that
That's only half though.
I've seen so many
Right,
werewolves get decapitated that I just assumed that their caretakers are also dead. But you realize you were only down 2 Stark kids.
Yeah,
And
that's
one
right.
of them was Rickon, and he doesn't count.
Totally. So it's down like 1.4 Stark kids.
Exactly.
He's just too little.
Yeah.
Right. So the Starks are here, and there are going to be 4 of them, and they're formidable. Although one of them is
He's half Stark.
none of them was what?
He's
Are you talking
She's
about
half
Jon?
Stark, right? He's half Stark.
yeah, I mean, he's half Stark, half.
He's their
half,
cousin.
yeah.
They're all half Stark, really, because some of them are half
That's right.
That's
fish
right.
people.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, he's their cousin.
He's their cousin. That's right. But they're there, and there's 4 of them, and that's significant. And I thought, I remember when first we started doing this, I really thought this was a story of Ned's kids. Like that's the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And it took this long for them to be back in action at Winterfell, which looks so different than season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So hang on, let me see what else we got here. Anything that Varys, Jon Snow, Theon. It's just a nice moment. The way the Ironborn are like,
we hate you.
Like they won't even like somebody get him a sweater.
The line of if you'd have tried, you wouldn't be here.
Right. That's right.
Well, if he had tried.
There was a lot. I thought there were.
Dead.
I thought there were
exactly.
a lot of great lines here.
Great.
Cersei, great. Just some really good writing. I thought in this episode. The Lannisters always pay their debts. How do bankers fare with revolutionaries?
Yes.
Right. So the slaves. How does the slaves pay their debts? Former slaves, they pay their debts. All good, and also a reminder that by far the most important thing in war is who has the gold, who has the money, and the inevitable tie between the banking industry, Wall Street, between the banking industry and the people in power, and that's and it's not like the Iron Bank. What has happened to me? I know all these things. It's not like the Iron Bank's going to do what's right. They're just going to pick a winner, and then bribing him. Look, man, stay here for 2 weeks. We got girls, we got great food. You'll have a great time, and at the end of it, I'll give you 8 trillion lira or whatever.
Right.
Lira?
Whatever. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to best finger acting.
What?
In the series was done by the representative from the Iron Bank. He did that creepy, like, as he's talking about who's winning wars, he just does that weird, like, hover hand finger extension. He's like, ugh. And it was so creepy. And it's like, what he's staying here for 2 weeks to do. Just like weird sex stuff in a brothel. He's like such a weird, creepy, like.
So he beat out creepy finger for weird finger action?
Yeah, he's beat out creepy finger for strange finger acting. I just thought I think that actor does such a good job of being like creepy financial guy. And he was back. For me to recognize him from one scene, really, ever. I don't know.
What is Jaime said to Diana Rigg, we enticed the larders before we left. What does that mean?
We emptied the larders.
Yeah.
Emptied them.
They
Sorry,
took
emptied.
all
That's
the
a
stuff
spell
out.
check.
Yeah.
They took
the money and the supplies out of Casterly Rock, so there's nothing really there but a husk.
The line about there are always lessons in failure, right? That's relevant to all these people. And
you must be very wise.
Right. The fact that they talked Daenerys out of, let me just get on a dragon and I'll go burn these ships at sea. And they're like, no, that's a bad idea. But she's headed in that direction.
Yeah, she's gonna.
She's headed to. Come on, we're gonna go. Also, we had the nice scene with Sam and Jorah / Richard. That was, but it still remains to be seen how that, like, other than that being a nice story, and Sam served his purpose. He learned where the dragon glass was, but now they're going to mine it. Like if Sam now fell off a cliff,
no
tragedy, but not.
No, I feel like Sam 1 should have earned a ring. He should have earned a chain for that. He did good.
A chain?
I think he did get
one of his maester chains.
Oh, okay.
So like when he's like, oh, you wanted a reward? I think the reward is there's going to be knowledge in those scrolls he has to transfer.
Yes, I agree. It's going to turn out
use that to do something good.
I like that the
that's right. It's not just random translating. Otherwise, they would have had him. They would have said, all right, go
the soup and poop.
Right.
Is it just me, or did it seem like the way to cure grayscale is pick your scabs? And like squeeze your pus balls.
That's the lesson.
And that's it. Just everything your mom told you not to do.
Yeah,
pick it off. Just
scratch your eczema some more.
Oh yeah, grayscale. I'm sorry. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to take it off. It's tough. It's tricky. We've studied it for centuries and centuries. It turns out just grab it and throw it away.
Yeah, you're fine under there.
Yeah, definitely. You'll have some scars.
So weird.
You'll be sensitive about it when you go to the beach. By the way, no one has yet figured out that the beach is awesome, right?
What?
Like there's never a scene of people arriving at a beach and there's like a family at the beach. having a picnic. Like
There's the third good point.
Some of the sharks are just running around.
Yeah, like somebody somewhere like, oh man, today, beach day? Beach day?
The kids in Dorne playing in like the water fountain. That's like the closest you get.
All right, maybe
the beaches are cold because they're all, they're, you know.
It's English after all.
Like just a couple, romantic walk holding hands, with their shoes rolling.
Oh look, there's a bunch of ships coming this way. Yeah. Oh, they're not going to kill us.
Probably are.
Oh,
That's why. So, but I like Richard and Sam. It doesn't feel super relevant yet. They'll probably make it relevant. Not Richard, sorry, Jorah. Jorah.
Wait, why do you call him Richard?
Because that's this character's name on Downton Abbey, I think. But that might not be right. There's some chance.
I'm sure someone will tell you.
Yeah, that was also like season 1 of Downton Abbey.
Yeah, that was like a long time
quite
ago.
Some time ago, but that's still who he sees. So he'll come back, and it's another, theoretically, it's another, wise voice to Daenerys. But I don't quite. It's not like he has some magic powers. Right? He's just a
good
trusted
guy.
lieutenant.
Yeah, but he can say he survived grayscale, and that's going to impress
Yeah, sure. And I mean, if she surrounds herself with the guy who's been brought back from the dead, and the guy who saved and a guy who survived grayscale. I mean, and Tyrion. I mean, she's got super smart people around him. Do Richard and the Onion, did Jorah and the Onion Knight know each other?
I think so.
Yeah.
But those guys will be friends.
From a long time ago.
They got stories. Those guys got some. They can do some drinking and tell some stories. I'd see a spinoff of Jorah.
I love Davos
Jorah and the
so
Onion
much.
Knight.
He's becoming like, his stock's getting higher and higher for me.
Look, this is Cersei is winning. I mean, the tables seemed enormously stacked against her at the beginning. Daenerys had this huge advantage, and now she simply doesn't.
Well, it's the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Things are going to shift a lot.
They've got to tell us how Tyrion seems so dumb. And Cersei, I hope it's a spy, because otherwise it just feels so much like
no. There is a spy.
There is a spy.
There is a spy, and it might be Varys, because Varys, I don't know. It seemed like Varys was like, no, this is it. She's got power. I'm close to her. She's got power, and she's going to win. So it seemed perfect for Varys. So
Varys is going to back.
Well, they've made a
I
big
got it,
deal
but that
about
Varys line about when once a commoner gets power, it's like a lion who's tasted man. Like. That means I'm not going to give up power.
That's sad.
I agree.
All right. Well, thank you. Right, we're good. Do we leave anything out? All right.
Cool.
Thanks for watching episode 4 next week. Thanks everybody.